Hello, welcome. It's good to see you guys. Some of you I know I've had in class. Some of you I'm new for you and you're new for me. So we're going to have fun. This is an online class. This is Management 3213, Principles of Management. And it is an 8-week course. First part of the semester, August, first week of August through last week of September, middle of September, whatever 8 weeks is. I want to just remind you that because it's an online course, it starts on Tuesday and the assignments are due throughout the week with the module ending on the following Monday. Now, if we're in class, we have an opportunity to talk about these things, and I see that you're there or not there. Since this is online content and you have 168 hours in a week, I think you should be able to find time, a couple of 3 hours here and there, to make sure that you get your content covered. Most of you have had me in class long enough to know that we have this lecture, the 168 lecture, that talks about how we break up our hours. Some of you have even struggled with, even participated in the time mapping project that we've done. So if you find yourself falling behind, just lean on some of those resources and structure your time and energy so that you can get things done. That's enough about that. I want to just remind you that this is a 3,000 level class, which means that you've been in school for a while. The expectations are a little bit higher, and I sure hope that you can find it in your hearts to live up to those expectations. Meanwhile, I'm getting ready to some of these things. I want to, oops, that's what all right. So this is a brief introduction to our first week modules. And we have, no, we don't want that. There we go. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. You have course information and resources available to you using the library website, MLA General Format Guide. You guys are pretty good at doing that. How to view grades and feedback, turn it in, stuff like that. If you have not accessed your MindTap yet, if you have still to sort through the finance of that, please get into the proper people and take care of that now so that you don't get behind, because there's just no catching up if you get behind. We're using the Williams text, Principles of Management, and it's a MindTap. It's a Cengage text, so it is in MindTap. And when you access week 1, then you can see your stuff that you're going to be doing. Every week we'll have 2 to 3 chapters to cover. They're not long, they're not difficult. And what you'll find out is that, and what I have, every time I teach this class, I'm astounded at how much it just takes what we already kind of know intuitively and it puts it into a formal thing. And so in the first chapter, you're going to be looking at Foyle's 4 functions of managing, which are, you can imagine, planning, organizing, leading, controlling. But you know, they didn't start systemizing this stuff. They didn't start organizing these thinking about these things until the early 1900s. So the history, chapter 2 talks about history of management. The history of management science is really only about 125 years old. And there's some fascinating people in that we study. Foyle is one of those guys. We also, in chapter 1, look at types of managers and the roles of managers, and skills and transitions. Basically, chapter 1 is an overview of what a manager is, who a manager is. It's all directed toward being a more efficient person and being able to do your job as a manager well. Some of you have had me for business finance class, and you know what I think about the role, the primary responsibility of the manager. And chapter 1 gives you a lot of different ideas about what managers do and who they are. They all lead toward someone who can, I hear you, maximize profits for the shareholders. That's the main role of the manager. You won't read this in this class, but if you remember business finance, that's what we do. Maximize profits. Okay, history, chapter 2. Basically, we look at Moses back when Moses was leading the Israelites, and the text goes into some other early examples of more organization. Moses was guided by God to break down the systems of court judicial processes into small groups, like one guy over 50, one guy over 10, 500 different groups, because he was just overwhelmed with the stuff. And that's a good example of how managers work in their processes. So as you're reading chapters 1 and 2, be thinking about ways that managers have happened throughout the history of time. And 2 talks about Taylor, Galbraith, Gant, Follett, and it talks about the Hawthorne studies, gives you some great stuff there, basically systemizing our thinking and the process of systemizing. Now, Frank Galbraith was a great person who studied efficiencies. And as you're reading that, if you get a chance, and I don't know what streaming thing it's on, there's a great show called Cheaper by the Dozen. There's a great book, Cheaper by the Dozen, and the original movie is really more true to the book. Don't bother with that Steve Martin version that was done in the last 20 or 30 years. It's not even close. Go back further in the 50s or 60s, and maybe I'll find that and put it somewhere. But that's the Cheaper by the Dozen movie and book that are really fascinating about the way that Galbraith thought, lived, raised his children, and his wife as well. She was part of that process too. Okay, flipping down here, the last thing on module 1, week 1, final paper. Let's talk briefly about that. It is to be done in pairs. So you're going to need to find one of your classmates, be bold, be gracious, be courteous. Don't just shut somebody out. If you need somebody, reach out and put yourself out there. You can do that on a discussion topic. You can email your classmates. You might see them bumping around campus. I'm not going to put you in those teams of 2. You need to put your own self in teams of 2, and then select a topic, select 3 topics actually, because you're only going to get one, but somebody may choose your topic as well. Topic that deals with some area of management that you can research. So you're going to, those 2 chapters, 1 and 2, will spur you to think about some of those things that might cover that. Email to me, both of you in your group, who your partner is and your 3 topics, so that I can parse through those and make sure that we don't have any duplicates. I will email you back with the topic that is approved for your group, and I will do that in the order that they're received. So the first ones with topic at number 1 will get that topic. When you send in your 3 topics, make sure that they're listed in the order that you would like to do them. Okay, I'm going to see if I can, I'm just going to have to pause for a minute. I'm going to end this sharing. I'm not going to go back to the shared screen, but I'm just going to say that if you look forward to week 3 at the bottom, you'll see that there's an annotated bibliography that's due that deals with this paper. So as soon as you get your topic approved, I would strongly recommend you just go ahead and start gathering some sources, work with your person, work with your teammate to gather those sources. Now, the annotated bibliography is not a group project, although you can work on that group. You have to turn in one, and your partner turns in one. They can be the exact same one, but I have to have one from each of you. And you do that through the normal processes of the Canvas. So there you go. Week 1. Please don't get behind. Just get after it and get it done. It's going to be fun. This stuff really is fascinating to get into, and it's going to help you with life. Get after it.